Hey team, just busted down to Nundle. Kind of minor detour. I'm on my way to a thing down in Newcastle, and just took a back road. Just happened to be passing Nundle, so thought I'd use the opportunity to scoot down and check the trail cams. So I don't have a permit, I'm not carrying a rifle, I'm literally just running here. I've got trail cams down this track here about a couple of Ks, so I'm just lightweight, ready to go. I've actually just got my running vest on. I've got, in this pocket, I've got replacement SD cards. In the back I've got replacement batteries, raincoat because it's looking pretty stormy, good old Zolio here just in case because I'm by myself, and of course Blaze Orange, always Blaze Orange. Smudgy, something smudgy. Anyway, always got some Blaze Orange on because I've got no idea who's hunting. So anyway, come with me. We're hooning down here, going to swap these trail cams out, and then I'm going to camp in Nundle. I've got 2 more trail cams in another part of the park. Go and get them in the morning, and we'll check and see what's going on. We're 2 months out from the rut, and things are heating up. Animals are starting to move, and the booking system's in place, so we're all fighting for spots. So it's all good fun. Let's go for a walk. Alright, coming up on the first trail cam. Fingers crossed it's still here. Oh yep, I can see it, it's still there. Okay, let's take a sticky peek. Wicked. It's got 1,000 photos on it. Swapping the card out's what I'm doing. Secret with these cards is when they say they only do 32 gig, they mean they only do 32 gig. If you go put a 64 gig card in, they won't work. It's not all cameras of course, but it is these ones. Alright, that's camera number 1. Oh, I should have checked the batteries. Check the batteries. Pretty sure they were right, but I can't remember focusing on it. And we have full battery. Okay. That's camera number 1. Let's go get the second one. See you that way. So if pre-scouting isn't something you've put into on your hunt calendar, you should try and do it. You know, it's not always easy to get to your hunt spots mid-year, but try and make the effort. Getting a bit of intelligence on what's going on in your spot's pretty important. Things change through the year, so you got to sort of start to get to know what happens. So this place is 7 hours from home. Just kind of work it into something else to try and get here, and I get here a couple of times throughout the year. One to set cameras up at least once to check them, if not twice, and then I can just sort of check on what's going on, when animals are showing up, what volume of animals are here over the year, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's quite interesting to see. Also, if you can get down here a couple of times just a little bit prior to the rut, you'll start to see saplings getting scraped and rubbed, and start to find where these guys are bedding down. The young satellite bucks might come in, clean up last year's scrapes. They tend to do that before Big Daddy comes back, takes them over. It's just the way of the world. So it's a lot of good browse in here. I'm clearly not trying to be quiet. I've got a rifle, it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to ninja ring, get in and out, and check my cameras. So anyway, we'll see what we turn up. Alright, 2,391 pictures. Okay, this one's picked up a heap of stuff of just branches and twigs and ferns and stuff swinging in the breeze, so I'm going to relocate it, pull a card out and just put it somewhere else nearby here, see if I can get a better outcome. Okay, we've moved the trail cam. New trail cam spot. Looking at this little intersection. So we'll see what it drums up. When we get back to camp, we'll throw these memory cards in the machine and see if they turn up anything decent. Meanwhile, we're out of here. Back to the car. The other thing I forgot to say was, when you replace those memory cards, make sure you format them. Right, there's no point in walking all the way in here, not checking the batteries, sticking a new card in, and forgetting to format it. So, that's exactly what I did. So on my way back, I'm just going to drop back to that first one, make sure it's formatted. Everything will be sweet. You can get some more photos for me while I'm sleeping. Done. Back to the car. Alright, that's trail cam mission 1 done. Now boost up back to Forest Way and like 10 k's down there, depending on how the light holds. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. I think that means it's time. Let's have a look here. Sunset's in 3/4 of an hour, gives me another half an hour after that. I reckon that's probably enough for me to scoot down and grab these other 2 trail cams. The ones that I'm looking at next, I'm not sure I want to keep them where they are. These are the 2 that I put in place on a spur that had next to no habitat, but they were on a pretty active looking game trail. So it looked more like an access area than it was a place that animals would come in and feed. And then not long after I placed them, I found a really great gully, and I wish I had cameras, so I might go and get the first. Well, I don't know what to do. I think I'm just going to go and pick them up. I'm just going to go and pick them up. I'll collect the cameras. I'll bring them back to camp, and then we can look at the photos and decide what to do next. Yep, that's the plan. All right, doing that. Okay, second trail cam mission. It's nearly dark. Sundown's in 5 minutes, so I'll see how I go with this. But it's down into a little bit of a gnarly spot, but got a torch. It's just dark, who cares? I'm really just recovering stuff, so as long as I can get down safely, coming up's a lot easier. Should be fine. I'm just going to send a message off with the Zolio to let the boys know I'm dropping in here, and they know where I am. So anyway, we'll do that now. Okay, just sent that to Jono. Zolio comms, just dropping into Murder Dog. It's 20 to 8. I'll check back in again before 9 o'clock his time, so that's 10 o'clock my time. It gives me 2 hours to get down and back. Should be heaps. If it's not, oops. But at least I can message him from down there, so no big deal. Alright, let's get cracking. Right, Murder Dog, known for its steep, shitty craziness, and I'm at the top of it. Wow, part way down. If you can see, maybe you can't. Game trail comes all the way up and set the main access route up. So that's why there's a camera here, and it seems to be pretty well worn. So let's bust down here as fast as we can, back up again. Oh, how good's that? I've still got light. Come all the way down up here, and I don't know. Hi camera. Okay, this will be an interesting one. Alright, so 800 photos, lots of pigs, 1 or 2 deer, reds, and that's about it. So not an overly successful camera, although it's a quiet time of the year. So good to know the reds are in here. Of course they are steep. Anyway, back to the camera. Okay, now it's dark. Whew, just walked back up our bird dog. Last camera. So I'm going to pull this one. I'll check it back at camp. Well, good morning from Camp Nundle. Bit empty now. Next time you see it, it's going to be full of vans, happy hunters, keen enthusiasts. It's any other cool word I can use to describe how awesome this place is going to be in a couple of months. So we're all booking, getting our spots, and just come up for recce to make sure it's access is good enough for vans, and yeah, no one's going to have any dramas. But I'm excited. It looks mint. Anyway, morning coffee. I'm about to run down into Murder Dog, check some trail cams, and then get on my merry way. So it's good fun. If you're joining us, can't wait to see you here. If you're not coming, bad luck. Maybe next time. Hey, just thought I'd stop, record a little bit more. I always talk about habitat and trying to find really cool spots that the deer might hang out. Well, I'm walking into my cameras. I've come in a different way. I sort of scouted this a little bit on the Athena spatial map. It looked pretty cool. But anyway, I'm not sure if you can see on the GoPro. I'm in a relatively cleared area. I'm just walking through this native timberland, and there's old rubs and old scrapes just over here. I've also got an elevated position up here. And we know bucks love elevated positions over feeding areas, so that's on that side up there. And on this side behind me is another elevated position up here. It's a cracking spot. These are the sorts of things I like to look for, and I can tell you that now just over here drops off into some steep gnarly stuff, so it's got plenty of hiding places and protection for animals. So it's off the road, it's quiet, there's good grass, it's a tip-top spot. So these are the sorts of things I look for when I'm wandering through the bush. You've just got to spend some time getting in here to find these spots and mark them out so that you can come back to them later on. But for me right now, this looks pretty special. It might even get a trail camera, we'll see. Just a bit more on that. Game trails running up to that spot up there. Now it's hard to know what makes them because this areas are pretty well shared with roos and wallabies, but I mean, look, I can point you down to the ground. All the grass is pressed down. This has been bedded on. Again, I can't say it's roos or deer, but you do tend to find that these animals like the same sort of habitat. So lots of clearings, lots of depressed grass, game trails to high points. It speaks to deer to me. So anyway, just trying to share my tips. Alright, picking up a bit more evidence. So what we have here is last year's rub tree. Just looking over here, there's another one. Another rub tree. Here's another one, look. This is all from last year. You can tell it's all old. And just show you a couple of other things. So here, little smashed off. It's another rub tree. And what do you know? Last year's pad. Oh, there's another one. It's all scraped out. Telltale sign. Big bushy tree that they like to lie under. This is a scrape. So usually what we find is the deer feed in a circuit, and when those does come through here, they feed, they bed down. He makes these rut pads and these scratch pads. So this is a definite hotspot from last year. Deer are habitual, they'll come back to the same spot. Even if this buck here had been shot, his satellite bucks will take over those scrapes. So this is an absolute hotspot. It's not exactly where I wanted to get my trail cams in today, but it's too good not to, so I'm going to spend 5 minutes and set one up. And yeah, hopefully this turns into a good spot for the rut. Oh, you dopey bastard. Alright, remember my tip from last time? Check your batteries. This is half flat. Damn it. But it'll have enough for a couple of months. And also make sure that you format the card so that it works. Right, close that off. See what happens over the next little while. Actually, what I'm going to do, there isn't enough battery on that, and I'm a bit disappointed about that. So what you can do, these batteries have, these cameras usually have room for 8 batteries. Right, so there's my battery pack in there, but it actually can only run on 4 if you want it for a shorter period of time. You can run these things on 4 batteries alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the batteries up in this one because it's full, and I'm going to put these batteries, half these batteries in the other camera, just to give it a bit of a boost, because I really do want this camera here. So it's a bit of a bummer that I decided that this camera wasn't flat. I don't know why I didn't check it properly, but I'm a long way from the car, so I'll switch these around. Oh, there we go. Alright, camera's up. Bit of a pro tip there. So all I've done is I had one camera that was 3/4 empty and one camera that was full. I've taken 4 batteries out of one, stick it in the empty one, 4 batteries in the other one, the more flat ones, switch them over, and now both cameras have got near 3/4 full. That's enough. I'm pretty happy with that. This guy's up here, it's pointing straight at a rut pad, straight at these scrapes. Fingers crossed that's a good decision. I did want to get these further down, but anyway, I've got one camera left. I'm going to head down into the gnarly stuff now and get that one set up. Just highlighting the importance of exploring again. So you see now I've had a wrong track. This thing's not marked. It's a really silent entry, heads kind of parallel back to where I was before. But just as important, it's an elevated position now on one of those terraces I talk about. Overlooks the next basin of clearing. I marked this clearing, I walked up the other side of it last time I was here. Now I found a quiet access into it, so I can look out over really a football field of clearing. And the same when I was up on this height, I was talking about this high point, a high point here, and a high point here that looks down into this basin in the middle. I can now take up residence on one of those 2 points depending on what the wind's doing, and have good shooting arcs into that. Just watch what's going on, so it's a good sit spot. Same here, logs that got cover. Can look over this premium habitat and see what's going on. So mint spot, really happy. Okay, going to carry on. More little tips. Anyway, I found this track last time I was here. So the one that I was talking about a minute ago, there are other tracks that I didn't find that have given me a quicker access down to here. This track is an old unmarked track. I think it's an old logging forestry track. They've made it big enough to get those big 4-wheel drive logging trucks down here. There's big turning arcs when you get to hairpins and things like that, so it makes me think that's what it was for. Probably 40 years ago when they came in here and milled out some of the really big timber. Anyway, the good thing about it is it's right up against the edge of the cliff, which means the whole way down, it's probably about a K, this track that runs all the way down the bottom, but it goes like every 100 meters you can poke over and look, you can look right down in these gullies. You might not be able to see this on the camera, but I can see all the way to the creek. I can see all the way to that habitat that I spoke of. So I can see down to the next terrace, which goes down to the creek. So I've got 200 meter visibility of this whole system, and then when I go up a bit more and there's the next gully, I can see that whole system as well. It's primo. Really, really good. Water, good food, good sunlight. It's going to be warm in winter. Eastern facing slopes. It doesn't get better. I'd be very surprised if we don't turn some deer up in here. Anyway, gotta keep going. 1 o'clock. Right down the bottom of my basin, what I call a basin. Right, see this big wide track that's here? It's invisible to everything. Too much canopy for the satellites, and there's too much deadfall rock and history has fallen over this track for anyone to come down and cast. There's no sign of any human activity down here. Normally you can tell because someone's left some bloody rubbish. Anyway, there's none. It's really nice. So this is the hanging basin I talked about a couple of times on the podcast. It's got this tea tree sort of, I don't know what they call it. I've got to figure out what the native fauna and flora is actually called, but I call it tea tree. It's not. But it's the slow-lying, scrubby stuff that deer love to get underneath. It's this big basin in here. It's sort of a hanging basin in the middle of this big amphitheatre. And then it drops off just here. Cruises all the way down the bottom. And that is just breathtaking in terms of what it looks like. It's amazing. So one of the other things I like to think about when I come down into these spots is what's the wind doing. You know, if you go and check the weather patterns and the prevailing winds, you can get an idea of what it's going to be like. I can see there's hills here blocking wind all through here, massive hills. We're right down in the thick of it, but the prevailing wind is still coming the right way, and I map what I'm seeing in terms of direction against what I'm seeing on the forecast just to make sure that that's the general direction. The wind's still coming, even though it's got to come through all these gullies and things. But man, oh man, what a place. What a place. It's a shame you can't see what I can see, but it's bloody incredible. Right, I'm going to go find the best spot to put this trail cam and hightail it out of here. No doubt someone's going to see this and say, that's my spot. Anyway, this is the centre of this basin at the bottom. Crazy, eh? So we've come from way up there. I think we've come down about 200 metres in elevation. And there's this big staging area. There's just no sign of any activity here. All you see is game trails and footprints from animals, which is cool. Anyway, up on that saddle up there is where I picked the cameras up from yesterday. And this is the big bit that I was looking at the bottom. And a minute ago I showed you down into that basin. So I'm just going to go and have a bit of a poke around there, see if I can find a natural game trail. I like this spot to put the camera up. I'm sure animals will be coming in here and feeding on this pick. But I'm just going to have a poke around the edges and just see if I can find any natural game trails. I think animals are using this track a lot, but anyway, we'll go and have a look. Okay, it's done. The hard part about cameras is where to put them. So this is the central basin that I spoke about a second ago. I just walked over here. There's a really cool knoll, or just a little hill, not even a hill, little mound. You can stand on the mound and you can straight down into the next gully. You can see the whole thing. So that's pretty cool. This is the track we've come down, and this is the basin that we're in. Right, pretty hard to stick a camera that faces into the basin because they don't have very good range. So what I've done is I've decided to put it on the main access track out on a tree just here. So there we go, just hanging out there. Now anything that moves through and up this natural corridor, we'll get them. We'll see what happens. What on earth is that? Bright berries on that tree. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Just going to activate this camera and get out of here. Time to hit the road, and I'll be back here in a couple of months. So. Right, I've got half battery, we're good to go. Done.
Well, that's it. It's my quick 12 hours in Nundle. Checked the first set of trail cams, moved one, picked up the second set of trail cams, and then repositioned them this morning in what I think is a wicked spot. So keen as to come back for the rut in a couple of months, and booking's well on the way now. We've got 4 out of the 7 nights booked in, 3 to go to fight for, but it's shaping up to be an awesome camp. We've got a great spot, great group of fellas, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the little scouting mish. Got a couple of little tips off it, and look forward to bringing you the next one. Later.